And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We're talking big rule changes that, if they were implemented last year or years before, they could quite substantially affect some races. So, what are these big rule changes? What effect are they going to have? Let's get into it. And welcome, Twitter. Yes, as you can see here. And we're talking, Twitter shows us the FIA closes the F1 loopholes ahead of the 2025 season. There's a couple of things which is quite interesting. But firstly, the FIA, they've implemented several changes to the sporting code. Now, the major article, for you nerds, is 43.8, requires all cars who start from the pit lane to join the formation lap rather than waiting in their garages until that grid forms. Pray tell, why is that? Well, Motorsport understands that the change prevents teams from exploiting situations where you got your pit lane starters, but they could gain an advantage, for example, during wet conditions or even aborted starts. Previously, they could avoid certain disadvantages, let's say, by delaying their start, gaining an extra lap of fuel. I mean, this is so blatant, I didn't really even think about it at all. So, to be fair, this is an example of the FIA doing something good. Yes, it does happen. Or obviously they could select better tyres as well, so they could have an advantage by doing that. And another key change, and this is the big one, it addresses damaged cars attempting to return to the pit lane. The updated article 26.10 allows the race director, Mr. Marquez, to order a driver to stop immediately if their car poses a risk to others. For example, Sergio Perez possibly at the 2024 Canadian Grand Prix. Talking about Canadians, let's have a look at this one, shall we? So this ultimately is Gilles Villeneuve, who has crashed, sadly, and he is once again in the gravel. As you can see, his tyre is absolutely screwed. It's absolutely screwed. Yet he decides to restart the car. To be fair, I just wanted an excuse to show this legendary, this iconic image. I've got the sound off. And look at that. Look, it's car, yeah. That is damaged. It's kind of a bit dangerous. We're talking about, the early 80s, I believe this was. And you can see the phenomenal cone-shaped tyre. Not tyre, cone-shaped, but look at him go! I mean, fair play to him. He's absolutely hooning it around there. But this is the thing. It could be dangerous, and as you can quite clearly see. But what will happen? So it says any driver whose car has significantly and obvious damage to a structural component. Hello, Jax. Gilles. Sorry, not Gilles. It's Gilles Villeneuve, not Jack. Which results in it being in a condition presenting an immediate risk of endangering the driver or others, or whose car has a significant failure or fault, which means it cannot reasonably return to the pit lane without unnecessarily impeding another competitor, or otherwise hindering the competition. It must leave the track as soon as it is safe to do so. And they've got, at the solo discretion of the race director, should a car be deemed to have such significant and obvious damage to a structural component, or such significant failure or fault. So basically, it looks like they're not going to... I imagine the race director is going to look at it and go, there's no way this guy is going to carry on with the race. There's no way this guy is going to finish the race. The competitor then may be instructed that the car must leave the track as soon as it's safe to do so. Granted, it could bring out a virtual safety car or even a full safety car. But this rule gives officials more authority to prevent, and what they're saying is, dangerous situations like Sergio Perez's 2024 Grand Prix incident in Canada, where he drove back to the pit with a destroyed rear ring and ultimately dropping debris all over the track. Now, we know about debris. If you remember that rogue wing in Qatar did nothing good for Valtteri Bottas and potentially Lewis Hamilton, who both suffered punctures. And it said the FIA aims to improve clarity and enforcement of these rules, ensuring they are easier for the teams or stewards to interpret. So that is the big rule change I wanted to talk about. It is quite significant because it stops or negates an advantage that you can have from starting in the pit lane. And it also, if your car is driving back, it is fairly significant, because if the race steward that's kind of out of the race. Even if I guess your engineers think differently, no, you got to stop. It is dangerous. Now, what's interesting is if a front wing, for example, is throwing debris everywhere, here, there, and everywhere, is that going to be deemed dangerous enough for it to stop? Just once again, take a look at this. Take a look at the Gilles Villeneuve video. is this too dangerous to stop? I mean, he's still driving, but then the worry is, if that tyre lets go, could it hit somebody in the crowd? Could it cause more danger? Could it bring out a red flag? Would they, in this situation, for example, if this happened in 25, say, oh look, there goes the tyre? Would they say, stop the race? As in, not your race, stop your race. You have to park up. Thank you very much. And at this point, I mean, look at him. He's absolutely dragging everything. He is on 3 wheels. Cars are trying to pass him. Yes, he's waving his hand. Sparks are flying everywhere. I mean, look, at this point, his wheel's been ripped off. It's absolutely going mental. So under the 2025 rules, surely Jules Verne will be saying, stop it, you nutter. You got to absolutely park up. Stop it, please. I imagine. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I want to say thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button. That will no doubt most certainly give me a smile. If you already subscribed and you want to do a bit more, hit that like button, comment below, let us know what you think. But once again, you just clicking on this video is absolutely more than enough for us here. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon. But above all else, stay safe.